But since many people can't afford or don't want a 3DS, I will just cover this game as well. Yen Sid uses his powers to send the boys back in time to the point when they first became Keyblade Masters so they can relearn the skills that they self-taught themselves. Their task in this unique Mark of Mastery exam is to reawaken the 7 sleeping worlds, because when the worlds were swallowed up in the very first game, some worlds were not fully restored and fell into a sleep, a stupor, a coma, in world form. So that's what Sora and Riku are going to do. They're going to reawaken these worlds, and to do so they need to go to Destiny Islands when it was swallowed by darkness. Destiny Islands is one of the sleeping worlds, so they reawaken Destiny Islands, and at the same time they move on to the other worlds. However, things don't seem to go quite as planned, as Sora and Riku are almost immediately split up, and they find themselves falling asleep every now and then. And when Sora's asleep, Riku's awake, but when Riku's asleep, Sora's awake. And worse than that, they can't even reunite when one of them is awake, because the other one is in a parallel version of the world that they are in. There are 2 different versions of each world, completely the exact same alongside each other. And as they later find out, one of them, the one Riku is in fact a dream. So if one of the versions of the world is a dream, then what does that mean for Sora and Riku? Why are they split up and separate? As it turns out, back when they were on Destiny Islands, they saw a man in a brown robe. The same brown robe man that was in fact Xehanort's Heartless Ansem from the first game, back when he was nothing but a heart with no bodily form. So Riku, sensing that something was wrong, dove straight into Sora's dreams and became a Dream Eater. Just to clarify, in the world of the sleeping worlds, there are monsters of their own, not like Heartless or Nobodies. These are called Dream Eaters. They're special, fancy, weird creatures that live in the dreams, and they're good Dream Eaters and the bad Dream Eaters. You fight alongside the good Dream Eaters and against the bad Dream Eaters. There you go. So without even knowing it, Riku has become a Dream Eater that defends Sora when Sora falls asleep in his dreams. Why does Sora keep falling asleep, you might ask? Because in fact, the organization are back at work. The organization? Yup, the organization. As they progress their way through their quest and complete their task, they keep running into these guys in black cloaks who are blasts from the past. Ansem, Xemnas, and a younger version of Xehanort. You see, Xehanort had a lot of foresight, and he had a feeling that the Keyblade wielders would at some point want to enter the sleeping worlds. So he made sure that his heart form, the robed guy, was there at the very beginning of Destiny Islands when it fell to darkness, so that if they tried to go back in time and do the technique, which they did, not knowing it was for the Mark of Mastery exam, but knowing that at some point they might want to enter the sleeping worlds, he took the precaution of having his heart form there so that he could hijack them, take their bodies away while they were sleeping in the sleeping world, because they had to fall asleep to enter the sleeping world, and he hijacks them and takes them away for his plans, and yeah, we'll find out more about that later, don't worry about it. Look, I know it's complicated, but bear with me, okay? It gets better. Xehanort utilised his own version of time travel, which in order to do, you need to sacrifice your body, which is why that version is nothing more than a heart, just a robe, which is why he needed to capture Riku in order to gain a body of his own later on and for a while, but yeah. So he went back in time to the time of his youth, because in order to go back in time, you need to have a version of yourself there at the destination point. He then passed on his powers and an objective to his younger self. His younger self had to use these powers to travel around through time, gathering up all the different versions of Xehanort throughout time into this one place so that he could rebuild Organization 13. And with this new Organization 13, I guess they hoped they could use the Princess of Light or the original organization for the sake of recreating the Keyblade and finally achieving his goal. But because of Sora's interference and destroying his plans, they've had to come up with a few new ideas, and they've come up with a really despicable one. Xemnas' original plan was to use the nobodies of Organization 13 and fill them all with the same heart and mind using the power of Kingdom Hearts and turn them all into Xehanort. He wanted 13 Xehanorts, 13 Seekers of Darkness, 13 Hearts of pure darkness to fight with 7 Keyblade wielders, 7 Hearts of Light in order to create a brand new Keyblade. That's been Xehanort's plan all along. But there's still one member short of 13, and that's where Sora comes in. They want to use Sora, put him into a stupor, by dragging him through the worlds of dreams and sleep till his heart falls completely into darkness. Then they can hijack that heart and fill it with Xehanort as well, turning him into the 13th Xehanort. Throughout all of this, Lee woke up back on Radiant Garden because his Heartless and Nobody had been destroyed. He reawakens as a normal person along with a bunch of the other members of the organization, except for Braig and Isa. Lee goes looking for them but can't find them anywhere. He decides to travel to Yen Sid, helping Mickey out against a little Maleficent attack in order to gain the power, spoiler alert, to use the Keyblade. And then Lee shows up to help Riku in the final fight against Xehanort, as Xehanort appears and reveals his plan to them all, and he tries to turn Sora into the 13th vessel. It doesn't work out, but it is shown that Isa and Braig are going to be the other vessels. However, a lot of the members of the organization are unknown for the moment. The Xehanorts run out of time and are forced to leave, but Xehanort warns them that the day is coming when they will refight and reforge the Keyblade, and when that time comes they will meet in the Keyblade Graveyard. Stay tuned for Kingdom Hearts 3. In the meantime, Riku has to wake up Sora's sleeping heart. He travels into his heart and finds Ansem the Wise, and the contents of Ansem's research, which he bequeaths to Riku, saying now Sora is waking up. They wake up, Riku is dubbed the new Keyblade Master, and Lee finally summons the Keyblade, which is pretty darn hilarious actually.
But I just couldn't get mine to materialize. Must be in the snap of the wrist or something. Oh.
Psst, spoiler alert. Yen said trains Kairi to use the Keyblade for Kingdom Hearts 3. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, you might have picked this up, but Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't out yet. But when it does come out, it will conclude the Xehanort saga and wrap up the Kingdom Hearts story so far altogether. So fingers crossed for whenever it comes out on whatever system that it will be a success. Hopefully it will be, probably will be, who knows, but that will finish it all together. But so far, that's it. That's me summed up the entire Kingdom Hearts series. You're welcome.